Who really owns the land she claimed? I'm Walter, 78 years old, and for half a century, I've tended to my 10 acres of rolling green hills. It's been my sanctuary since my father passed it down to me in 1975. Every morning, I walk the trails, breathing in the scent of pine and wildflowers. But last month, my peace shattered. Started with Karen, my new neighbor. She moved into the house next door, a flashy SUV parked in her driveway. At first, she seemed friendly, waving as I mowed my field. But soon she began eyeing my land. "You shouldn't be out there," she snapped one day, arms crossed. "That's my property line." I chuckled, thinking it was a misunderstanding. I showed her the old oak tree marking my boundary, but her eyes narrowed. "We'll see about that," she hissed. Days later, Karen escalated. She hired a surveyor, who paced my land with a smug grin, planting little orange flags along my fence. Karen stood by, smirking, as if she'd already won. "This is mine," she declared, pointing to half my field. I tried reasoning, pulling out my faded property deed, but she scoffed. "That's outdated." I checked the county records. My blood boiled. This land wasn't just dirt, it was my father's legacy, where I scattered his ashes. The tension grew. Karen called the police, accusing me of trespassing on her land. 2 officers showed up, looking uncomfortable as Karen ranted, waving a shiny new survey map. "He's squatting," she screamed. I stayed calm, showing the officers my deed, but they couldn't settle it. "Take it to court," they said. Karen's eyes gleamed with triumph. That night, I barely slept, haunted by the thought of losing my land. Then came the twist. My grandson, Ethan, a tech-savvy college kid, visited. He overheard me venting and grinned. "Grandpa, let's dig deeper." Ethan spent hours online, scouring county archives and old maps. He found something Karen didn't expect. A 1960s land grant, buried in microfiche, confirming my family's ownership back to 1920. But Ethan didn't stop there. He discovered Karen's surveyor was her cousin, with a history of fudging reports for profit. The plot thickened. Karen wasn't just mistaken. She was scheming. The court date arrived, and the small-town courthouse buzzed with locals. Karen strutted in, her lawyer flashing a stack of documents. I felt a knot in my stomach, but Ethan squeezed my shoulder. "We've got this." When my turn came, I presented my deed and Ethan's findings. The judge's eyebrows shot up as I revealed the surveyor's shady past. Gasps echoed in the room. Karen's face turned red, her confidence crumbling. Then came the bombshell. Ethan had contacted a retired county clerk, Mrs. Hawthorne, who'd worked the records office for 40 years. She hobbled into court, her voice steady as she testified about the 1960s grant. "Walter's family has owned that land since before Karen was born," she said, glaring at Karen. The room erupted in whispers. Karen's lawyer stammered, but the evidence was ironclad. The judge ruled in my favor, declaring my deed valid and ordering Karen's flags removed. She had to pay court fees and a fine for filing a false claim. The aftermath was sweet. Karen's smugness vanished. Neighbors who'd once nodded at her now whispered about her failed scheme. Her cousin's surveying license came under review, and Karen put her house up for sale, unable to face the town's judgment. I walked my land that evening, the oak tree standing tall under a golden sunset. My father's memory felt safe again. But the sting of Karen's actions lingered. She tried to steal not just my land but my peace, my history. I wondered how many others she'd bullied before me. Justice prevailed, but the fight left scars. I'm sharing this because I want to hear from you. Have you faced a Karen who tried to take what's yours? Was she right, or did she get what she deserved? Let me know in the comments.